Welcome, 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 my friends. Jenn here, coach for sensitive souls who struggle with emotional overwhelm and the fatigue that can come with being highly sensitive. And I combine meditation, energy work, and coaching to help guide them to more connection and groundedness in their body, and which helps them to feel more relaxed in their day-to-day life. All right, my friends, hopefully it's not too noisy out here. Yesterday I talked a bit about what energy blockages are and how they're formed and such. And so I thought today what I would talk about is how we may notice certain patterns repeating in our life. Maybe we end up in the same relationships, kind of dating the same people that end in the same way, or the same things keep happening in our jobs that frustrate us. We keep ending up doing the same things or things like that. So in regards to blockages, which I mentioned yesterday, so depending, just a little overview, what happens is basically we're not equipped to deal with things in the time that it happens. It's maybe too intense or overwhelming. We're not equipped at the time. Maybe we were a child and we didn't know how to process what we were dealing with, or maybe we were shut down by other people. And as a result, these blockages form in our energy system. These blockages, our energy system in general is always going to seek to move up and out to freedom. So these blockages are always going to want to be healed. And when they feel safe to do so, that is when they're going to come up in our life. And so how that can show up in our daily life is that perhaps we will draw to us certain situations, relationships, experiences that can help bring that energy forward. Because as I mentioned yesterday, in order to release these energy blockages, we have to feel in order to heal. So that means we have to experience potentially some of the energy again. So that can come up as thoughts, as emotions, as feelings in our body, different belief systems in our head. Some things that I've noticed in my life is sometimes, I've reached a certain point and there's certain beliefs that I know not to be true. But when an energy is coming up, I have these thoughts and I'm like, where are these thoughts coming from? Like, I don't believe that. But then I recognize, okay, an energy's coming through and it's wanting to be healed, and it feels true even though I know it not to be true, if that makes sense. And so that, to me, is the energy coming up and wanting to be healed. And so those blockages are always going to want to seek freedom, right? They don't want to be there. Our body doesn't want to be congested energetically. And so we'll bring these situations into our life. So now back to why do the same things keep happening? Well, if we keep pushing these situations away, if we don't learn the lessons that are needed in that moment, if we don't fully integrate the energy and allow it to be processed, then it's going to keep coming back for us to be able to pull back the layers. Now, I also notice that new situations, it may seem like something is healed. I may think, okay, yeah, I got that, it's all good. But a lot of this is layers. Pulling back the soul is a layer process. And so we may, really do some deep healing on something, but there may also be more layers that we're not aware of. And it may happen, where we do work on it in 1 year and then 2-3 years later, we need to do more layers. And it may just take that we need to do certain work first for us to be able to process those deeper layers. We may need to get to a safer place where our work and our life is more stable, where we're able to process those things. We may need to take certain programs, work with certain people, all of these things, which puts us in the right place to pull back those layers at that time. What else about that? So energy is always seeking to be raised. It's always seeking to move to higher levels. And I think tomorrow maybe I'll go over vibrational energy and how we raise our vibration and what that looks like. But from an actual stance of, I want to raise my vibration, what does that look like? But energy in itself is always seeking to move up and out. And so we will feel drawn to things that raise our vibration naturally. It's not necessarily something that we have to force or, seek out. Our body is going to seek out what it needs naturally. The key here is that we give ourselves the space, the time to listen and be with it and feel what we need. And that a lot of times is the hardest part, because we are raised in a society, many of us are, in our, we're raised with parents that we're taught to fix, to push, to find a solution. And that means it's more of like, I don't want to say from an aggressive stance, but from a go get it kind of way, instead of a lean back and feel kind of way. And so a lot of the work I've done on myself is learning to sit back and learning to feel things out and to be okay with the waiting, which as a recovering perfectionist / recovering fix-it pusher is a challenge. And I think a lot of us have been raised the same way, like, I need to push this. Like, an example is getting to the place in my business where I am right now. 3 or 4 years ago, I was pushing, this didn't feel right, but I was pushing, I need to do this, I need to learn this, I need to do this program, I need to learn this, I need to do this marketing, I need to organize it in this sort of way. And a lot of the layers that I've pulled back in the last 3 years is, okay, let's sit back, let's feel it out, what feels good, and then when I do that, then these things naturally come up, right? So the energy is always seeking to come up, and if we sit back and sit with it, we will get what we need out of it. We will find the lessons underneath, and if we also sit with it and give it space, that is how we are going to allow these energies to unwind. But yeah, so that is why we may see continual patterns. Is one, we weren't ready the other times, that each time it came up, so we pushed it away. We weren't able to give it space, the energy of the space it needed, and we pushed it away, and we didn't take anything from it, and we were just able, there's nothing wrong in that situation. The energy tried to come up, it wasn't time, it'll come back up another time, and that will show up as similar situations. 2, we didn't fully integrate the energy. We didn't fully learn what we needed to. Again, we can only do the best we can in each situation. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so we didn't fully integrate it. We didn't. And 3, there are layers, right? There are multiple layers, and just because we feel we've made a lot of process at one time doesn't mean that more layers won't be needed to be pulled back later down the road. And it doesn't mean we did anything wrong. It doesn't mean we took any steps back. It just means that there was a process that is much bigger that we don't necessarily see down the line, and it's all going to unfold in its own way. So those are the reasons why we may see similar patterns, similar relationships, situations that bring up the same emotional feelings and energies. Like, for instance, one of the emotions I had been unpacking for probably a good few years was anger. And I noticed, I was getting all these situations to really unpack anger. It was like these relationships and these situations in different parts of my life where it was really bringing up anger for me. And so I was just peeling it back layer by layer, right? Another one that I really see myself unpacking is being able to stand in my truth and to feel confident in my truth and not to pull back to make other people comfortable. And that is one that I've been unpacking for many years. And so I see a lot of situations and relationships that are really helping me to unpack that and pull back the layers on that. And it's been really beautiful. So yeah, it's because this is a process, right? It's not a sprint. It's not an immediate thing. It's not something we can just if you look at it as like a present, you can't just unwrap it and that's how it is. And maybe there are certain things that certain energies that are like that, where we can just literally, we just unpack it and that's done. But for many of these things, they are really, really deep within us, some of these things, and there's layers that we don't understand, and it's a process. So it's going to be peeling a layer at a time, one at a time, and these situations, these experiences are here to help us, are here to help pull those layers back, and help us to get to that. Hi Sherry, welcome. Just talking about why we see the same patterns, relationships, and things come up multiple times in our lives. But yeah, so that's what it basically is. We're peeling back the layers to our soul, and these situations are here to help us. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thank you for joining. This will be uploaded to IGTV as usual, if you caught, partway through or after. But yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions, comments, message me. Love to talk about this stuff. It's my jam, so I love to talk about it. And yeah, if you want someone to help guide you through the process of pulling back those layers, I'm here as well with soul coaching, intuitive meditation sessions. We can talk about that or book one. Again, just message me and we can talk about that as well. Okay, bye my friends.